time, waiting for him to release some new music as well. Hopefully that will come at some point. I don't know. He's been quiet. That is how we kick off the show today. I hope that you've had a great morning thus far. So much happening today by way of the news cycle. We've got the memorial of the late South African icon, actress Nandi Nyembe, currently being streamed live via SABC News, and that's underway at the Market Theatre, just paying tribute to the life that was and her contribution to arts and culture, Umam Nandi Nyembe. And once again, we send our condolences to her family and friends. And of course, we also know of the passing of fellow broadcaster and really just celebrated South African journalist Utsidi, passed away yesterday. So we'd like to extend our condolences to her friends and her family, as well as her colleagues out at Prime Media 702 in particular. Tsiri Madia was one of those South African journalists that really put country first and consistently interrogating and bringing stories and unpacking what the truth is behind any headline. And of course, we know that she made South Africans very proud with her representation on the back of that meeting of the two statesmen between Donald Trump and Cyril Ramaphosa a couple of months ago at the White House. So we extend our condolences, our praise, and our love to the Madia family, her friends, and of course her colleagues and our broadcast colleagues out at 702. That's how we begin the show today. Let's take a quick pause.
This week on Off-Pitch Goals, Sonono and Sanela Khoza join us and take us through the storied success of the Zodwa Khoza Foundation. We talk legacy, community building, and youth career pathways. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 this Saturday, 30 August at 6:30 p.m. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. Off-Pitch Goals, where we showcase how the stars score in business. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
The Chili Boys are going all out for a win in front of their home fans. However, Amabagania are confident nothing will stop their winning spirit. This is the Betway Premiership. Catch Chipa United versus Orlando Pirates live this Sunday, 31 August on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. SABC radio stations are also available on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Keeping your family healthy this winter can feel like a daunting task. Try the Lung Shield range. It includes capsules to support healthy lungs and immunity, a syrup for kids that supports the immune system and promotes lung health, and an effervescent with 13 essential ingredients to optimize immune function. Put your family's health first this winter with the Lung Shield range. Available without a prescription at leading pharmacies. Lung Shield, prescribed by doctors, recommended by pharmacists.
They said women belong in the background, but we've always been the backbone. We drive economies. We innovate, care, build, and break barriers. We don't just raise families, we raise nations. But how do we build a thriving nation while violence still silences our voices? Erasing gender-based violence and femicide from our history isn't a dream. It's a decision, a shared one, a necessary one. This Women's Month, let's rise, not just in celebration, but in solidarity, because South Africa is strongest when every woman is safe. This message is brought to you by the GBVF Response Fund and proudly supported by the SABC.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, our first guest today is Angela Jung. She's a mountaineer, a jewelry designer, and ambassador of Brand South Africa. And one of the causes that Angela champions is the Impilo Collection Foundation. And as we celebrate Women's Month for 2025, they're calling on all of us, citizens, corporates, and communities alike, to help them close a gap where the goal was to collect over 8,000 bras, 8,849 bras to be exact, one for every meter of Mount Everest. And now just over 2,000 bras short of reaching their target. Angela, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through. Much appreciated. I mean, besides being a businesswoman and an entrepreneur, you're also a philanthropist at heart, and doing some incredible work within South African communities. Tell us a little bit about your philanthropic arm.
Yes, I think going back to 2017, that was the first time I met my biological mother after 30 years, constantly looking for her. And when Track for Mandela, Caring for Girls, approached me and says, Angela, would you like to climb Kilimanjaro for Caring for Girls? Then I say yes, because you can only give when your cup is full.
Yes, yeah.
And we actually climb Kili to raise funds for girls that cannot afford sanitary pads and missing school 50 days a year. So that's how I started climbing for girls. And later on, during COVID, and seeing people are suffering in 2020, and just say to myself, what can I do to make a difference? So we just call on social media, friends and family, and collect food. And we came back with 10 tons of food.
Wow.
Yeah. And who's Angela to give out the food? So that's how I started the Impilo Collection Foundation. It just motivated me because the timing was right. You can't just go there and give out food. But yeah, it was that time was quite crucial for us. Then we gave out all those 10 tons of food to GBV shelters, OH Home, and Orphanage. And later on, we received 1 ton of sanitary pads. We gave out to HIV Positive Home and also Special Girls. And one of the girls actually come up to me and says, Auntie Angela, next time when you come, please bring us some bras. Then when I look at them, I realize they're not wearing a bra. And perpetrators see that as an invitation of a sexual attention.
Yeah.
And when we went back and did a research and realized that, it was 2,700 women died from GBV. Initially, we were only going to collect 2,700 bras. We came back with 6,200 bras. And we laid it out at the Constitutional Hill by the Women's Jail. And we handed a memorandum to the public safety. And we gave out all that 6,200 bras. We wash, we pack, and we label them. And we measure each woman that we give out, 3,100 women in South Africa. And that year, I climbed to 6,200 meters island peak in the Himalaya. That's how I started climbing with the bra, associated with our Empower Her movement. And like this year, I just came back from Everest 3 months ago, that I climbed 8,849 meters. That's why we are collecting 8,849 bras.
Yeah. I love what you've built around philanthropy. And oftentimes it's also when you talk about, for instance, the impact with the young women and bras, it's often an overlooked need. And knowing when I saw you were coming on the show, I said to my producers, I'm so excited because deep down I've had this inclination of collecting bras, and you collect them in small quantities amongst my friends, and you get maybe 100, and you take them to a girl's home, and people have always asked me, why bras? And I remember we had on the show a very, very successful South African businesswoman, top tier, top 100. And I asked her to bring bras when she came on the show. And she said to me, why bras? And I'm like, because you and I don't have to think about it. But there are girls out there who do.
Yes.
If they can't afford sanitary towels,
Yes.
they can't afford a bra.
Yes. It's even more expensive.
Yeah. And it's such an essential part of just the holistic female journey and the confidence of being a woman. We all remember what it was like buying your first bra.
Exactly. And I think a lot of them, they don't have the experience. And we, as someone that could afford it, we should actually really help them. And that's how I see it. We talk about it. What did you do about it? So when we receive all 8,849 bras, as we did at the Constitutional Hill, we're going to go around 9 provinces.
Yeah.
And just really to open this conversation. What is the reason we're wearing a bra? What does that actually impact us? What is the history of the bra? I mean, those things we never really talk about it.
No, so true. So true. You're one of a few women who've actually managed to summit Everest. And I know nothing about Everest, but I know that they say the northern side is treacherous, right?
Yes.
And you've dedicated these climbs to victims of GBV in South Africa.
I think people were gobsmacked, especially when I go to the top. I was wearing my summit suit. That was the color of our South African flag. When I got there, I was holding this bras, and they were just looking at me like, what? Like you say, why bra? You know, and that moment was shocking, I think, too. It was a shakening moment. People see that, you know. Yeah, it was hostile. Especially the last woman who climbed from South Africa was 26 years ago.
Wow.
From the north side. I'm here to repeat her history, the legacy that we have. Yeah. So it was really something that even when we get to the death zone, you see bodies.
Yeah.
And it's just really, that moment is shock you. It's like you driving, you saw accident happen. When you see the body, it's exactly how it feels like.
Sure.
Yeah. And those moments we don't talk about as well. People only focus on, oh, you get to the summit. But the most dangerous part is actually coming down.
And I mean, Angela, for you, this is something you do not even for your own sense of accomplishment. It's not about just you saying, I've summited Everest, but I get the sense it's a representation and symbolic of the greater struggle of South African girls and women.
Exactly. So climbing Everest, get to the summit, is just halfway. I think coming back down, we also giving, I actually bought like 100 kilos of clothes with me to giving back to the local in Nepal. And after that, we came back here for Nelson Mandela Month. We were doing reading buddy, so women there who are, we call them social warriors, that they take off a day, they took off from work just to come in and serve, and they sit there and read to the children. It's easy just to give out resources, but really spending your time there and really get to understand what they really need. That's how I get to know what the girls need when I was there. I felt, we all wearing many hats every day, but giving your time, it's more valuable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are in conversation with South African businesswoman. She's a jewelry designer by day, makes some incredible jewelry as well. Also the ambassador of Brand South Africa. And as you can hear, she's got a passion that runs deeper than just challenging her own physicality by way of climbing mountains, but it's driven by a purpose far deeper as a philanthropist. And she's just summited the northern side of Mount Everest, and she's come back to tell us all about it and, of course, the reasoning behind it. Let's take a quick pause for the headline news and then we'll come back on the other side.
This Women's Month, SAFM stands with the women shaping South Africa's future. Under the theme, Building Resilient Economies for All, we honor the pioneers, the problem solvers, and the everyday heroes driving change. Stay tuned as SAFM brings you powerful stories and meaningful conversations that move us. SAFM, celebrating women, celebrating progress. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
She's got a right to be.
Thank you, Bridget. In the news headlines, National Police Commissioner Fandi Masemula says they are re-looking at strategies to deal with the ongoing taxi violence and gang-related shooting incidents in the Western Cape. The Western Cape Education Department says it will be able to provide over 35,000 teaching posts for 2026, with schools receiving their staff establishments tomorrow. And India's finance ministry says the ripple effects of U.S. tariffs is a challenging short term, though the effects might taper off eventually. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Who says talking never solves anything? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. You are listening to The Full Circle.
All right, we are in conversation with my guest this afternoon, Angela Jung, who is a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur in the lifestyle arena, a jewelry designer, beautiful jewels that she makes. She's also an ambassador for Brand South Africa, and a philanthropist at heart, challenging her own physical limits to raise awareness and, of course, much needed resources for young girls and young women from underprivileged communities, and also those who've faced adversities and been victim of GBV. I mean, the work that you do with your foundation, Impilo Foundation, is work that's really impactful. A lot of people, and you said at the beginning that you can only really give when you yourself are full.
Yes.
A lot of people will say, I want to do something. I'm obviously not going to summit Everest, but I want to do something, but they get held back from even going into their community to see where they could be of use. What would your advice be to South Africans? Because I think we've reached that point where in our little corners, we can all roll up our sleeves and impact one life.
Exactly. And I think also we, like you say, people were worried about who's that they wanted to associate. So I think like our foundation really started from the generosity of people. A lot of people actually want to give. But who is that they wanted to give? And what is the cause that they actually resonated with them?
Yeah.
So we started Empower Her, focusing on GBV. We still actually trying to initiate Empower Him, because it's also important to educate the boys.
Yeah.
And we see actually 60 to 70% of suicide is coming from a man. So we also have, like we say, like that I told you about the Empower Them, it's really focusing on the educational side of things. We collecting books and help some of the school library to rebuild the libraries. So it's really, we will try to diversify so people can get more involved and just take off one day from work, because every day is Nelson Mandela Day.
True.
You don't have to only give during the July month. This you can always just look into our calendar, and those are the days that we're giving. We are doing distributions. Just come in one day a month. It's not a lot to ask for.
No, it's not. Absolutely, it's not at all. And for folks, and I love that the sense of volunteering as well, because a lot of people, we speak to a lot of NGOs on this show, and NGOs always say, and they're very honest. They'll say, don't give us what you think we need. Call us and
Yes.
ask us
Exactly.
what we need.
Exactly.
And half the time they say what we need is a human resource. Like we need an accountant to come do our books. We
Thank
don't
you.
have that. We can't afford that. Like, we need an administrator to come make sure our files are sorted. We need that in order
Yes.
to be compliant, but we can't afford the person to do that, or we don't have the time because we're busy, doing the work.
Exactly.
And so that sense of volunteering, I think, is something that a lot of us should really have internal conversations with ourselves and say,
Exactly.
how do I show up as a citizen?
It's actually quite a struggle for us. So even getting our exco to remain the same people for the last 5 years, we've been like swapping, changing, and try to get that things work. But I mean, we try to work per project. That easier for people to focus. Okay, this is a project we are focusing on right now. Then they can get involved. But it was really, really, it's hard. And most of the time, it's like you said, my business is trying to cover the cost of the foundations, but how much more that we can cover. So it's become very hard.
But you keep moving nonetheless. Talk to us about Empower Her, because you guys do a lot with Empower Her.
Yes, yes. So, like I say, our aim is to get 8,849.
Yeah.
Actually, right now we got around 7,000.
So you're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. We just need someone to, more people to drop off bras, or
Yes.
maybe they can even just give us 25 rand for one new bra. That's really it's really nothing. For 25 rand, you have a cup of coffee. It's already
Yeah.
more than that.
Of course.
And yeah, so every 25 rand can really make a difference for us. And when we got all 8,849, we will be going around the country,
Provinces.
different provinces, for the art exhibition. Because we realized when we put out those bras, the 6,000 bras that we had before, it looks like a piece of art, because it's all beautiful colors around the gallery at the Constitutional Hill. So it's something beautiful. It doesn't have to be all dark. And that conversation can be really like just drawing the awareness and dignity
Absolutely.
for the woman we have.
Absolutely. So for anybody that wants to donate the 25 rand or more, or 25,000 if you want to do that, where do they go?
They go to our website, www.impilo, foundation.org.
Lovely. So impilofoundation.org is where you can go if you want to contribute that 25 rand to sponsor a new bra. You can also sponsor your gently worn bras. Ladies, we know we buy bras every single month, and really you only wear your t-shirt bra. So you might as well just pop those other bras in the dry cleaner, let them have a nice refresher wash, and if they are still looking very new and very unused, log on to impilofoundation.org and they'll tell you exactly where to drop them off, where all those drop-off points are. When are you hoping to actually distribute the 8,000 plus bras?
So we're planning to go around 9 provinces during 16 days of activism.
Okay.
And then after that, we will distribute.
Okay. So we've got a little whiles to make sure that Angela and her team get the goal. 8,849. She's sitting at about just over 7,000 right now. She needs to hit that mark and maybe surpass it even more. And then she'll figure out what's her challenge next year. Like, where does she go next year? Does she do a loop around the world a couple of times, or what does she do in order for her to get more mileage so that she can get more bras out of you and I? Angela, appreciate the time with you this afternoon, and your incredible heart and the incredible work that you do. So impilofoundation.org is where you can go to get more details about Angela Jung and the work that she does with the foundation.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
The landowners of the following properties are called upon to file notices of appearance with the Land Court within 30 working days from the date of publication via television, newspapers, email, and WhatsApp. Portions 147, 184, 303, 122, 167, and 174 of the farm Broederstroom 481 JQ. Portions 62 and 36 of the farm Leuvenkloof 480 JQ. Portion 34 of the farm Wilgegand 491 JQ. Failure to file a notice of appearance or notice to participate within the prescribed period may result in court orders granted in your absence. Inquiries: Registrar of the Land Court 010-493-5392 or Office of the Regional Land Claims Commissioner, Northwest Province 082-947-7106. Alternatively 064 009 2467.
Bafana Bafana will host Nigeria in a FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifier at the Toyota Stadium on Tuesday, 9 September at 6 p.m. Tickets are now available nationwide and online from 70 Rand for adults and 40 Rand for children at all Ticket Pro outlets, including Spar, Postnet, and all petrol stations. Get your tickets early to avoid disappointment. Come in Bafana Bafana supporter gear, ready to sing for a win. Gates will open at 3 p.m. If you are not in Bloemfontein, catch the game on SABC2. For more information, visit safa.net and at Bafana Bafana on all social media channels.
The National Pulse, weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
I mean, the stats say 69% of crime. Now, I'm not too sure which level of crime that is, because you already made the distinction about violent crime, but 69% of crime is where people chose not to report it. Which crimes are we talking about there?
Personal level, for example, hijacking was most reported, and sexual offenses and assault. However, consumer fraud, because sometimes it is difficult for people to bring sufficient evidence, as well as theft of personal property and street robbery, are the ones that are at lower levels of being reported.
Okay.
So only 69 are not reported, only 31% are reported.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, a quick catch up with Sivuisiwe Giba, who's the co-founder and director of Sivubuhle. Is it Sivubuhle Media? Sivubuhle Media, a documentary and multimedia production company that's based in Eastern Cape. And we're talking around the inaugural Cultured Roots Film Festival that's going to be hosted in East London. How are you doing, Sivu?
Good afternoon. I'm doing so well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm great. How's East London today?
Beautiful. The weather is great. Very sunny.
Love it. Let's talk about the inaugural Cultured Roots Film Festival, and you're hosting this in East London. Tell us a bit more about the festival.
Yes, so the festival is the very first festival that we are putting together, and it's going to be very exciting. A lot of documentaries, feature films, short films, and also animation. Those are the kind of screenings that we're going to have from local filmmakers coming from Eastern Cape. Some of them are coming from Gauteng. Some of them are coming from Western Cape and KZN. And the festival is also going to have a lot of master classes, which is quite exciting, as well as panel discussions. And the importance of this festival is to empower upcoming young budding film enthusiasts from the Eastern Cape to kind of get the feel of what it means to be in an environment where there's industry experts, there's all other people who've done blockbuster films that are airing, that are being broadcasted, things like that. Yeah.
Very
So it's quite
interesting. We were just having this conversation the other day with my producers to say KZN has managed to build a very robust film environment down there. Very much driven by the MEC of arts and culture. And MEC of finance. And they did really, really well. I'm trying to remember all the different departments and tourism, and they collaborated together quite well. And we're talking about the Eastern Cape and the infinite potential that lays within the Eastern Cape. Do festivals like this also help in sort of moving that conversation forward to say perhaps we need to start building the industry in the Eastern Cape, and let us show you the potential that is here, through a film festival, for instance?
No, absolutely. I think this is actually the perfect timing to have a festival in this nature, especially because the people that are going to be joining us are all coming from, they are producers, they're directors, they're writers. So when they're here, they're really going to feel inspired by our tapestry, the landscapes, the beauty of how Eastern Cape just has a lot of locations that are available as well, untapped locations. That this is definitely serving as an opportunity for people to think along the lines of creating projects and films in the Eastern Cape, even though we don't have a huge infrastructure, but then it also give our government and the various officials and departments an idea of how they can start working towards building proper infrastructure, because people are now showing interest to be in the Eastern Cape consistently. Yeah.
Absolutely. And infrastructure can always be built. I was in my mind, when I said finance, I was thinking of the MEC of Economic Development in Durban. I think the former MEC from a couple of years back, I think his name was Desmond something, a colored chap. And he was one of those people at the forefront of building that infrastructure in Durban for the film festival, because the thinking was, and I think Eastern Cape suffers from the same thing, they export the talent to Johannesburg, the likes of myself and the Pearl, Two Season, all these Durbanites that come here. And the thinking was, well, why can't we build an industry there so that we can retain talent while still, economic development, plowing into the province, etc., etc. And Eastern Cape is the home of liberation heroes, but it's also the home of supremely talented creatives who've all left Eastern Cape to come set up roots in Johannesburg.
No, absolutely. And I mean, that's a very big gap that we have here in the Eastern Cape, is that so much of the talent is not within the province, and they're not even thinking about coming back, because obviously they feel that there's no room, there's no space, there's no development, there's no opportunities. But having to do these type of engagements like the film festivals, inviting the production companies to come and film here, slowly we can try to change that type of narrative, because it's not great when you often hear people that say, oh, how I wish I could go back to my own province, but, I'm forever going to be in Gauteng because obviously this is financially viable for me. So I think it's very important that, we get ourselves as a province to the level of how KZN has developed as well, so that we can retain the talent and also be able to hone the talent that is also coming up, to not feel like when they go to Joburg, they feel lost or they don't understand how to tap into the industry. They can be able to here and gain the stripes here, and also be able to be visible so that they can be booked in various productions.
Absolutely. So come the beginning of September is when the festival kicks off. Give us some dates for folks that want to come through to East London or are already East London based and have a curiosity around, well, what does a film festival entail?
Okay, so the opening night of the fest is on the 4th of September. And then we continue from the 4th until the 8th of September. And basically from the 5th, 6th, and 7th, we have a lot of screenings that we're going to screen, variety of films. I mean, we also have Ukarabo Litiga, and I'm so excited because she is coming down to Eastern Cape to join us as well, to kind of tell us about her journey as a writer, director, and how she got her films to be airing in cinemas, and things like that. And we're also going to have master classes. We're going to have Uzandile Msutwana, who's going to give acting master classes, as well as Uvuyo Dabula, who's also going to give acting master classes. We have quite a number of exciting heavyweights, that are going to be coming down. So it's going to be jam-packed program, and I really feel that, all the creatives that want to take themselves seriously as filmmakers should definitely join us, for this film festival, because we're even going to have a distributor, Milton Reddy, who's going to talk about how people can actually package their films, so that they can be broadcasted. I think that's also a very important element, because when you source funding, often that question comes up. So do you have a distribution deal or do you have a letter of intent? So this is why this festival is going to be flames.
Well, listen, we wish you and the team the very best of luck. We know that you're not sleeping right now as the clock ticks closer to the 4th of September, that premiere date of the film festival, the Cultured Roots Film Festival, hosted in East London from the 4th until the 8th of September. And you can get your tickets at sirtickets.co.za. That's sirtickets.co.za. 200 Rand, and that includes access to all the screenings, the panels, as well as the master classes. So you really get a bang for your money right there. Sivuyisiwe, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. And well done on initiating this one. Hopefully it grows tentacles, and we keep talking to you every single year as it gets bigger and better. That was Sivuyisiwe Giba, who's the co-founder and director of Sivubuhle Media, and of course behind that Cultured Roots Film Festival. It's just gone 10-2. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back on the other side.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
I'm Andile Ncube umzilankati isiqongo sinoJoji Ntombi eyazizala ke suka le emzimkhulu egugweni ila ke inkaba yasala khona. Your son got a star on his forehead, brightens your every mood when you get as old as I am. What do I like about Mzansi or love? It's home. Beyond football, I enjoy cricket. Or Andile ngesixhosa go Ace Mabheka. My favorite nickname of all time, like Captain Yama 2000. In everything we do, just like the African continent is the beginnings of life, right? Just like women are the beginnings of life. The SABC and SABC Sport is exactly that.
Catch Andile, Captain Yama 2000 Ngube on match days, live on Latuma. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The landowners of the following properties are called upon to file notices of appearance with the Land Court within 30 working days from the date of publication via television, newspapers, email, and WhatsApp. Portions 147, 184, 303, 122, 167, and 174 of the farm Broederstroom 481 JQ. Portions 62 and 36 of the farm Leuvenkloof 480 JQ. Portion 34 of the farm Wilgegand 491 JQ. Failure to file a notice of appearance or notice to participate within the prescribed period may result in court orders granted in your absence. Inquiries, Registrar of the Land Court 010-493-5392 or Office of the Regional Land Claims Commissioner, Northwest Province, 082 947 7106. Alternatively, 064 009 2467.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, the 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
A very quick and short catch-up with Noluthando Matebula, cast member and actress of the classic fairy tale The Frog Prince, which is being staged at the People's Theatre. How are you doing this afternoon, Noluthando?
I'm well, thanks, and you, Bridget?
I'm awesome. Okay, let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit about The Frog Prince. I'm not familiar with this particular fairy tale.
Well, The Frog Prince and Other Fantastic Stories is being put on at the People's Theatre. It is a compilation of different fairy tales, and our main story this year is The Frog Prince, and it's a story about a frog who may or may not turn into a prince.
All right. The Frog Prince and Other Fantastical Stories. I love it. So this is a limited season run, right? Because it's only running for September.
Yes, we are running from the 2nd of September to the 21st of September.
2nd until the 21st. And now you are in The Frog Prince, I'm presuming, and I'm presuming that you are the princess of the frog.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am the princess. Actually, we all play a number of different characters. So because there are many stories in the show, everyone plays a different character in every show. And because I'm the only female, I play all the female roles, and everyone is kind of changing into different characters.
What a wowzer. So, I mean, if you're presenting The Frog Prince and Other Fantastic Stories, that seems to be quite a load for you to be carrying as the only female.
You would say it's a load, but it's actually a very welcomed challenge for me, because I'm able to explore many different roles and many different characteristics and everything. Every single character is different, and it's a welcomed challenge for me to be able to make that switch with just a costume change.
Yeah. What's it like being, in children's theatre?
Children's theatre is such important and honest work. I will always believe that children's theatre is the foundation for a lot of children. There are not a lot of children who are exposed to, fairy tales and all that on stage. And children's theatre is such a developmental, a great developmental tool for children to come and watch a children's theatre production. And especially this one, children get to interact with us. There are moments where we bring kids onto the stage and they put on a little costume and they play around with us, and the entire audience gets to participate in making sounds, making storms, making all of these things. So children are part of the story as well, which is so much fun.
There's always mom and dad who say, oh, my child can't sit still, so I don't know if they can come to the theatre. But is this a good way to introduce children to the culture of theatre?
Oh, 100%, because it's not a very complicated show, shall I say that. And it's stuff that children can relate to, and children get to learn many important lessons in the show as well. And they also learn how to sit still and also stand up and participate as well. And it's a great introduction to theatre, I always believe.
Well, listen, it sounds like it's going to be a lovely season at the People's Theatre. Thank you so much for the time. That was Noluthando Matebula, cast member and actress, and she is rather taking up the role of the princess in The Frog Prince and other fantastic stories. It's running from the 2nd until the 21st of September at the People's Theatre, and you can always go to the box office for you to check the schedule as well as make yourself a booking. It's fast approaching 1 o'clock, top of the hour is within seconds. Onde Lambane is standing by to bring you the news, and then we'll come back on the other side of 2 o'clock and we'll continue our conversations.
SAFM supports a litter-free South Africa. Play your part in keeping our surroundings and environment clean. SAFM, leading the conversation.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, efforts to address gang violence in the Western Cape and Microsoft workers fired after staging a protest. For SFM News, I am Onde Lambana, and a very good day. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula says they're looking at strategies to deal with the ongoing taxi violence and gang-related shooting incidents in the Western Cape. Masemula was speaking on day 2 of the 27th Interpol conference currently underway in Cape Town. He says over 200 police officers from outside the Western Cape have been deployed in the province in the past month to help combat the increase in gang violence. Masemula says their main priority now is to arrest all gang members and not just gang leaders.
Resources we do have, what we have here, we think we can be able to tackle the gang violence in the Western Cape. Of course, we're also going to tap on other government departments to come on board, deal with other social matters, issues that are of a problem, especially issues of environmental design, accessibility in terms of policing, and of course also kids that don't go to school that becomes vulnerable.
The Western Cape Education Department says it will be able to provide over 35,000 teaching posts for the 2026, with schools receiving their staff establishments tomorrow. It says the basket of post allocation for 2025 will remain unchanged next year after consultations with unions and school governing bodies. Provincial Education Minister David Maynard says while this protects critical services like nutrition, transport and special needs support, growing learner numbers and budget uncertainty continue to place strain on the schools.
Unfortunately, we continue to face significant fiscal uncertainty over the medium term. Responding to growth is dependent on having more certainty regarding the budget, and so we will only be able to make decisions about this once we have more budget certainty for the 2026 school year.
Residents of Magogeni village in Komazi, Mpumalanga, have embarked on a violent protest action over a shortage of water in the area. They have blocked the main road with stones and other debris. Some of them claim they have not had running water for a few months, while others say their taps have been dry for years.
They used to provide us with water using water tankers. Now we have not had water for 3 months. We are now fetching water from the local dam.
We blocked the road to protest against the shortage of water. Another problem is that one of the community members shot and injured a 19-year-old girl during the protest.
We always vote for councillors, but we don't have water.
Creative director and producer Angus Gibson has paid tribute to the late veteran actress Nandi Nyembe at a memorial service at the Market Theatre in Johannesburg. Gibson says Nyembe was a towering figure whose talent shined brightly on our screens and captivated audiences. He says he knew he had struck gold when he first saw Nyembe perform on stage in the early 80s and admired her ability to mentor upcoming actors.
Working 5 days, 6 day weeks, and she would offer her Saturdays to work with these beginner actors and teach them both how to deal with the the huge attention that comes with television, but also the skills of really being a great actor. So she was extraordinarily giving. Nandi always presented this great side until she was really, her back was against the wall.
India's finance ministry says the ripple effect of U.S. tariffs is challenging in the short term, though the effects might taper off eventually. This comes as 50% import duties on Indian goods came into effect yesterday. The U.S. says half of this is a penalty on India for continuing to trade with BRICS partner Russia. Foreign correspondent Ishan Garg tells us more from New Delhi.
India's finance ministry says the ongoing trade negotiations with the US will be crucial in dealing with the 50% tariffs. It is, however, asking exporters to pivot to new markets such as Africa, Latin America and the Middle East to cushion the blow. New Delhi was hit with 25% retaliatory tariffs on August 1 and the other 25% came into effect on Wednesday.
Recapping the top story, National Police Commissioner Fani Masamula says they're relooking at strategies to deal with the ongoing taxi violence and gang-related shooting incidents in the Western Cape. I'm on Lambana for SAFM News Headlines at 2:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
This week on FC Meets, Tisetso and Bandile sit down with Mamelodi Sundowns ladies dribbling wizard Lehlohonolo Mashego. Find out about her rise to the top of women's football on the African continent and what motivates her to aim even higher. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 this Saturday, 30 August at 6 p.m. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. FC Meets, football made for community by community. Rechange game. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
The Northwest Provincial Legislature Portfolio Committee on Economic Development, Environment, Conservation and Tourism, chaired by Honorable Mpokuno, will conduct a public hearing on Northwest Biodiversity Management Amendment Bill on 3 September 2025 at Barolombo Mariba Tribal Hall in Tsidilamolomo in Ngakamudirimolema District, Volmaranstad Town Hall in Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District, Tseuge Community Hall in Tseuge in Dr. Ruth Somuti Mumpati District, and Okasi Community Hall in Bujanala District. All hearings start at 10.
Lina laka ke Tlhompo ke kana, I'm former Mamelodi Sundowns captain. I'm a sports analyst la ko SABC Sport. When I'm home, I try by all means to practice cooking. My favorite home cooked meal, I'll go for pap and masonja because I can prepare that with easy. What do I normally get up to when I get a moment to myself? I would easily, play my guitar. I try to practice a lot of Tracy Chapman. My favorite foreign language is French. Bonjour, comment ça va? So if I didn't play full football, I think I was gonna be a baseball player. What do I like about SABC Sport is the fact that we given an opportunity to educate.
Catch the exciting Diski analysis by Tlhompo Long Range Kekana on match days live on Latuma. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
tried. She whispers from a dream that I awaken from beyond the pale blue. She asks me to dive, unraveling my fears. We drift from dark to daylight, and suddenly those fears seem so far away. Making up for years and all I couldn't say.
Nduli coming through. This one taken from Black Elijah and the Children of Morewa, taking us to 2022. And as you heard when she was here the other day, this is an album she didn't get much time to work by way of marketing and ensuring that her fans, and we all knew that it was out there and it had been released because she had gone through her own dark personal journey just as she released the album. But it is out and it features Inkululeko, a wonderful track indeed. And it picks up, Black Elijah picks up from where she left off in 2018 with the album Exiled. She's going to be on stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, and we are going to be there as well, and we're giving you an opportunity to join us. You've got until the last day of this month, by the way, to send us an SMS with SAFM, your name, followed by your name, to 41391, so that you could stand a chance of winning yourself a set of tickets to come through and enjoy the Joy of Jazz with us. So we'll start making those calls come September, because the festival is happening that last weekend of September. So you have until this weekend, the very last day of the month, to make sure you send us that SMS and put your name in to the pot. And hopefully, who knows, you might join us as we go and enjoy all the musical offerings from the Joy of Jazz. Let's take a quick pause and then we come back and we chat to the general manager of At Santon Hotel. We're going to be enjoying their hospitality tomorrow as we wrap up Women's Month with the show.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
This week on FC Meets, Tisetso and Bandile sit down with Mamelodi Sundowns ladies dribbling wizard Lehlohonolo Mashego. Find out about her rise to the top of women's football on the African continent and what motivates her to aim even higher. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 this Saturday, 30 August at 6 p.m. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. FC Meets, football made for community by community. Rechencha Game, proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
This Women's Month, SAFM stands with the women shaping South Africa's future. Under the theme, Building Resilient Economies for All. We honor the pioneers, the problem solvers, and the everyday heroes driving change. Stay tuned as SAFM brings you powerful stories and meaningful conversations that move us. SAFM, celebrating women, celebrating progress. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, tomorrow we are wrapping up Women's Month with our annual Women's Dialogue. For as long as I've now been on the show, which is what, the third cycle, we've had our Women's Month Dialogues where we convene women from different industries, intergenerational conversation that we host just as we wrap up Women's Month. And we decided that we're going to take this year's one to At Santon Hotel, and they're going to assist me in hosting what will be a fabulous afternoon of conversation, sisterhood, and sharing in our journeys. And tomorrow it's going to be very much a convening of the creative sisterhoods. So last year we had a convening of women in various sectors of business, and this year I decided, well, let's convene women in the creative sectors. And Anthony Batistish, who's the general manager at Santon Hotel, said, well, Bridget, bring the fun here. How are you doing this afternoon, Anthony?
Hi, Bridget. Very good and you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for taking the time, and more so, thank you so much for opening the doors to your luxury hotel to host us.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, and an absolute pleasure to have you guys.
Awesome. So tomorrow we are coming through to at Santon Hotel. And some of our guests who really are out of town or maybe have not ventured to go see your property, pique their curiosity a little bit about the establishment. Give us some context and some background around Santon Hotel.
Okay, sure, no problem. We've been open since March 2022, so we are fairly new in terms of the hospitality space within the Benmore node or Santon node, but we are a very large, elegant and luxury property right in the heart of Santon, although slightly on the outskirts. With 562 bedrooms, we cater for all guests and all sort of room types in terms of our offering for families. And what we've done here is we've tried to create a lifestyle experience at the property. Catering for families, we're catering for all our guests. We offer a gym, we offer a Coco Pilates studio, we offer a wonderful spa down in the reception area, as well as a lot of areas that you can lounge around the pool during the day and enjoy sundowners in the early evening, as well as a lot of events that we hold within the hotel space. We've done a number of collaborations with events like the SA Style Awards, collaborations with Miss Earth, as well as SA Teen Awards.
Yeah.
We do a lot of lifestyle sort of events such as sip and paint for the ladies, as well as just for ladies to come and relax and enjoy that lifestyle experience.
Now, 562 rooms, Anthony. That's quite a large property. How does the machinery all sort of work, the ecosystem of a hotel, to ensure sustainability and also just consistent market compatibility? You know, it's a highly competitive space.
Well, I think what works very well for this property is that we are very new and we offer an incredible product that hasn't been seen in the Santon node or introduced into the Santon node for some time. We have aggressively pushed the market share and offered rates and an experience that in many ways is quite new to the Santon area. What we do differently here is we have 480 apartments on site too, so individually looking at over 1,000 rooms in one particular building or precinct.
Sure.
And where we've created experiences that are linked to convenience, like we have a deli downstairs and a bottle store, so if you for your convenience you can come down and do your shopping, prepare for your meals for the family and for yourselves. Trip to the bottle store, you've got, like I said previously, the spa and the Pilates studio, and those who enjoy gym, we offer a wonderful gym area. But even from that sense, the apartment guests and the hotel guests get to experience the cigar lounge that we have, the fine dining, the private venue that we offer here for 12 to 15 people for a intimate meal experience. And like I said, with sundowner vibes on the deck with a DJ and offering various drinks and activations. So it's a wonderful all-in-one city or lifestyle type experience, which is quite unique to the Santon node.
We've got Tourism Month coming up, of course, in September. Is there anything that you have planned for travelers to plug into?
Well, if you look at our website, we are constantly doing packages and various other value-add experiences where you can either build your package from a room-only experience, or you can add it on and include lunch, dinner. You could go into the private dining area. We even have a small cinema, private cinema that's available for our guests to watch sporting events or even a movie as a family to enjoy together as a movie night with popcorn and various other things. So we're constantly reinventing, and our menu and our offerings, like the food and beverage menus, to keep our product fresh and to keep on attracting more people to the property.
Yeah. You guys are also, from what I understand, very much a conferencing venue as well. Talk to us about that and what sort of sets you apart in that regard.
Well, I think the elegance of the property enhances that experience. When you walk into the grand foyer, you've got various pieces of art on all different levels and corners of the property that you can spend time and look at, which are for sale from the artists. And we support a lot of female artists in allowing them to showcase their art on site. In terms of the offerings, we believe that we offer a modern and a very elegant type offering. And I think the fact that we are slightly out of the Sandton central node on the outskirts of Benmore is also quite an attractive point from a location point of view. But we are flexible and we offer whatever our clients need. We cater for all their needs and have done many different events, like I mentioned previously.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the property, it really is a grand foyer. And there's a lot of sculptural art as well, sort of just lining that grand entrance as you come in, which I love. So definitely a lot of artists, I'm sure, enjoy being immersed in the space and the infinite possibility that collaboration could bring for them. Christmas is often an interesting time, and I know we're heading into September, but a lot of people are making their plans for the festive already. We always assume that people go coastal for the festive season, but a lot of people staycation in Johannesburg, in the big metros. A lot of people also come inland to reconnect with family and friends. Do you have plans for Christmas? Anything that we should be looking out for come that festive season?
Absolutely. We are actually launching our Christmas menu on the 15th of September on our digital platforms online. And that menu will be available for guests to book. They can contact Ryan at santon-hotel.co.za and make bookings through the hotel directly or through Dine Plan, where it will also be available.
Wonderful stuff. We appreciate the time with you this afternoon, and we're looking forward to tomorrow to come immerse ourselves in your space and enjoy all of your hospitality. Maybe before I even, let you go, because you opened your doors in 2022, I presume there were some takeaways from yourselves as management coming out of COVID to say, well, these are some of the lessons that we've observed from other, entities in hospitality. And this is what we are going to be taking moving forward, 22 and beyond, to make the business a success. What were maybe one observation that you thought, we're going to take this forward and incorporate this into our building to ensure sustainability?
Bridget?
Yes, Anthony.
I must say, fortunately for the hotel and the team, we opened the property after COVID, so we weren't affected necessarily by the effects of that global pandemic. And it allowed us the opportunity to rebuild from scratch with a brand new product, which was extremely competitive and remains competitive. And we were able to build a very strong management team to meet that demand.
Yeah.
And I think the key to hotels is you're only as strong as your team, and that's where your value and your strength lies, in the staff and the experiences you create.
Absolutely. Anthony Batistish, thank you so much for the time, General Manager at Sandton Hotel. And we'll be broadcasting our show live from their property tomorrow as we wrap up Women's Month. We have invited some friends of the show for a creative roundtable tomorrow. Looking forward to that exchange of experience and conversation. The likes of Gogo Barbara Masigela are going to be joining us. It's going to be a wonderful afternoon, so you definitely don't want to miss that live broadcast. Let's take a quick pause here, and then we are going to get into the headline news in just a matter of a minute with Ondela. On the other side of the headline news, we're going to bring you our our kids' programming before we come back and wrap up the show.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, a 24-year-old man was arrested in the N2 gateway near Delft in Cape Town for the illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition. National Police Commissioner Fandi Masemula says they're re-looking at strategies to deal with the ongoing taxi violence and gang-related shooting incidents in the Western Cape. And a nephew of Equatorial Guinea's president, Teodoro Obiang Nguema, who was at the center of a sex tape scandal last year, has been sentenced to 8 years in prison for embezzlement. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Do great solutions start with good conversation? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 2 kg Omo Auto Powder, 1.5 litre liquid or capsules, 14s for $84.99, and 200 megs free data on Spar Mobile, or Huggies Dry Comfort Nappies or Pants, Jumbo Pack for $169.99, and 400 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 7 September 2025, while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Think about 6 years ago when Amapiano was just a musical instrument. When streaming meant watching water flow, not videos online. And remote work was only said when your remote batteries died. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
This week on Off-Pitch Goals, Sonono and Sanela Koza join us and take us through the storied success of the Zotwa Koza Foundation. We talk legacy, community building, and youth career pathways. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 this Saturday, 30 August at 6:30 p.m. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. Off-Pitch Goals, where we showcase how the stars score in business. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Side by Side.
Good afternoon and welcome to Side by Side, brought to you by the National Department of Health, Ilifa la Bantwana, and the SABC Education. Today we're talking about developmental milestones in the first year of life. Those exciting steps like smiling, sitting, crawling, and even saying their first word. As you heard from our drama episode yesterday from Umam Sindi, who shared the key milestones to look out for, and how parents and caregivers can encourage their baby's growth and development in simple and everyday ways. To guide us further on what to expect, when to celebrate progress, and when to seek extra support, we are joined by Ms. Wanzi Zulu, an occupational therapist who brings both expertise and experience in child development. Ms. Zulu, thank you so much for joining us today. Babies grow and they change so quickly in their first year of life. Can you share with us some of the key developmental milestones that parents should look out for during this time?
Hi, Ms. P, and to all the listeners. Thank you so much for having me today. Baby's first year of development is such an exciting journey, and it's packed with so many changes. In the first 3 months, you'll usually see stronger head control, social smiles, and following objects with their eyes. Around 6 months, many babies are rolling, reaching for toys, and starting to sit with supports. By 9 months, they're often sitting independently, crawling, and exploring with their hands. And then around a year, you might see them pulling up to start cruising along furniture or their very first steps independently. And it's also just really important to remember that alongside physical movement skills, social, emotional, and communication skills are also developing.
And once parents know what milestones to expect, how can they best support their baby's growth and development during this very important first year?
The best support actually comes from everyday moments. So, talking to your baby, singing, cuddling with them, tummy time, and giving them safe opportunities to move around and explore their environments. These are building blocks, and parents don't need to invest in fancy toys or things like that. Babies really learn through connection and warmth and play. When they feel safe and loved, they're more confident to explore their environment and reach their milestones.
You spoke about babies smiling. At what age do babies usually start smiling, and what does this mean for their social development?
This actually happens really early on. Most babies will show their first social smiles around 6 to 8 weeks old. And it's such a wonderful milestone because it's the first clear sign that they're engaging purposefully with the world. Their smile is a connection and it shows that the baby is starting to communicate with us, and it's the foundation for relationships and emotional growth.
And when do they typically start rolling over, crawling, and walking? And how can parents encourage this milestone safely?
Rolling over usually comes around 4 to 6 months, and then crawling after that between 7 to 10 months, and then walking anywhere from 12 to 15 months. Parents can help by giving their babies plenty of supervised floor time and freedom to move. Avoiding long stretches in confined spaces like car seats or prams can also help. And parents should avoid using walking rings, as these can negatively affect or delay the development of the back and leg muscles needed to learn how to walk. Safe, supervised spaces are key, and it's about letting babies explore as much as they are able to in a safe space at their own pace.
And how important is tummy time, and how often should parents do it with their babies?
Tummy time is really important. It strengthens the neck, back, and shoulder muscles, which babies need for crawling, sitting, and eventually walking. This can be done from birth for just a few minutes, a few times a day, and you gradually increase it as the baby gets stronger. Tummy time doesn't have to be on the floor or on the bed, but it can also be done lying on the parent's chest, which is a great comforting way, especially when the babies are very little.
Around when do babies usually begin to recognize familiar faces and respond to voices?
Babies can recognize familiar voices, especially their parents, almost from birth. By around 2 to 3 months, they start to show clear recognition of familiar faces, and they respond more intentionally to the voices that they know. This is an important part of bonding, and it helps babies to feel safe and secure in their relationships.
And when should parents expect their baby to start babbling and also saying their first words? I mean, even if they're not clear, but those first goo goo gagas.
Yes, babbling usually starts around 6 months with, as you were saying, very simple repetitive sounds. And then by 9 months, babies often use a wider variety of sounds. And then by their first birthday, most babies will be able to attempt their first words, usually linked to familiar people, so calling their parents or objects in their environment. It's always exciting to see how much they try to communicate with us at this stage, even if they aren't using clear words.
And what if they're not smiling and babbling at that particular age? Should parents be worried?
It wouldn't completely be a concern yet at this stage, especially if the child is reaching milestones in other areas. So, for example, if they are still moving around and getting their fine motor skills and all of that developed. But if you do see that a child isn't smiling or babbling, it would be best to seek help with a healthcare professional. Sometimes it's due to their personalities or because of their environment due to the stimulation they are receiving. There can be many different causes, but it is best to get it checked with a health professional.
It's quite interesting that we should actually think along the lines of personality, because sometimes as parents, all they want to do is just to see their children reach particular milestones at a particular time frame. So, what fine motor skill development is the first year? Like grasping toys and feeding themselves with their fingers?
With fine motor development, it happens gradually over the year, right? So around 3 to 4 months, babies start to reach and explore with their hands. And then by 6 months, they're able to move objects between their hands, transferring from one to the other, as well as starting to bring things to their mouth. And then around 9 months, we often see a pincer grasp, which is them being able to pick things up between their thumb and one of the fingers. And then by a year, babies are usually learning how to finger feed, pointing, and these are skills that will facilitate independence so that they are able to feed themselves, start to do some skills on their own.
Just so that we can understand our little ones a little bit more, how do babies show emotional development in the first year?
Emotionally, babies grow a lot in the first year. Around 3 to 4 months, you'll often hear their first laugh, and then by 6 to 9 months, they start to show more preference for certain caregivers, and they may experience separation anxiety, which is completely normal. And then by 12 months, many babies will be showing affection, and they will be protesting when separated from their preferred caregiver. They also seek comfort from familiar people. These are all healthy signs of emotional development.
What role does play and interaction with parents or siblings play in reaching developmental milestones?
Play is really how babies learn. Through interaction with their parents and siblings, they can practice communication, problem solving, and relationship skills. It doesn't need to be a structured time that you're spending with them. Simple games like peekaboo, singing songs with them, or just talking through daily routines all provide good learning opportunities.
And how can parents use everyday routines like feeding, bathing, and bedtime to support development? Because I feel like there's an opportunity there.
There definitely is. So, with the everyday routines, it's a great opportunity to include different senses into their learning and just to interact with them. Any activity can be done in a way that stimulates their growth and learning. It's not necessary to add extra activities, it's just the activities that are being done in the home already and using those in a powerful way to create learning opportunities.
What are some warning signs that a baby might not be reaching milestones on time? And when should parents seek help?
So, when we are looking at a baby reaching their milestones, there are different things that we would consider red flags. If they have a specific delay in one area, so this would be, for example, in physical milestones, if the baby is very floppy or if they're very stiff, that would be a red flag. And in the social emotional side, if they are, like we were saying earlier, not smiling, or if they have inappropriate responses in some situations. So if they aren't laughing or smiling back at their parents or siblings playing with them, this could also be a red flag. And then we also get more broad delays or warning signs. If a child isn't meeting milestones in many different areas across the board in physical and social, emotional, and communication, they're just a bit behind everyone else of their age. And then the last group of warning signs that we have is if they are reaching milestones in most areas, but there's one particular area, for example, communication, that they aren't reaching the milestones in. So if the baby is able to, at 6 months, start to sit on their own and trying to get into crawling, and they are putting things towards their mouth, they're reaching the physical milestones, but we haven't heard any sounds from them at all. and they are interacting with us more like a 1 month old in terms of their communication, that would also be a red flag. It is difficult to track all of these, especially if you have more than one child, but there are many different apps that you could use, or even using your child's Road to Health booklet so that you can keep track of when they're reaching each milestone and if it's happening at an appropriate stage. It's also important to remember that every baby develops differently, but if parents are worried, it's always best to speak to a healthcare provider early so that we can get the support they need as soon as possible.
Ms. Zulu, thank you so much for joining us today. In closing, how can the Road to Health booklet help parents track developmental milestone in the first year?
The Road to Health booklet is such a valuable tool to keep consistent records between many different healthcare providers that your child may need to see. And it also has a lot of information that you can use to manage some basic concerns that often come up with little ones. In terms of the milestones, parents can use the tables with ages and appropriate milestones that are in the booklet to track progress. And it also assists in raising concerns about delays when discussing them with healthcare providers. These can be checked by the parents independently, or they can be assisted by healthcare staff during routine checks or when they're going for their vaccinations and things like that. It really does help to empower families to feel confident about their child's development. Thank you again for having me.
It's competition time! Side by Side continues to give away a cash prize of 1,000 Rand on our last episode of the month. And if you'd like to be one of our lucky listener, please go to our social media platforms, that's SAFM Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and send through your number on our DM. Today's lucky listener is Piwe Chandu. Let's give her a call.
Hello.
Hi, Piwe. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am good. I am calling you from the Side by Side team at SAFM. Are you ready for
Okay.
your question for today?
Oh my goodness, I think I'm ready.
All right. So here is your question, right? But I also need to tell you
Okay.
that if you get the question right, you'll be our lucky winner for today. But if you don't, unfortunately, we'll have to move to our next listener.
I have to get them right. I'm ready.
All right. So here is your question, right? Once
Okay.
parents know what milestones to expect, how can they best support their baby's growth and development during this important first year?
I think by giving them tummy time to strengthen their muscles, their tiny muscles. I think also creating a safe space for babies to explore. For example, I have a smaller lounge in my home, so I would make sure that I move all the couches so that the baby can move around and explore a bit. Also, try to respond to the baby's cues to build trust so that the baby can be able to trust you, and also engage in active plays with the baby. I think those are the ones.
Piwe,
Yes.
I've got good news.
Oh my goodness.
You just won yourself a cash prize of 1,000 Rand.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Thank
Oh my
you
God,
so
I can't
much.
believe it. Thank you so much.
If you would like to be our lucky listener like Piwe, please go on our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, and X, and send through your name and your number on our DM. That's SAFM Radio. And thank you for listening to Side by Side, the show that supports you to give your child the best possible start in life. Brought to you by the National Department of Health, Ilifala Bantwana, and the SABC Education. Join the conversation with other caregivers on our Facebook page at Side by Side SA and look out for more great content. Join us again, same time next week when we'll be talking about different kinds of play and why they all matter.
Side by Side.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Iman, can you believe my Gogo reads with me every single night?
My dad plays soccer with me.
But my dad walks me to school every single day.
My mom works all day and I love it when she arrives home and gives me a big squishy hug. Oh man.
We're so loved.
What did you do today? Visit
holdmyhand.org.za.
Together, we can change their future. This is an SABC supported initiative.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
What about the AU?
My brother, AU is dead. AU is DEAD, is dead. Is a useless body. We've been captured by the French again. What will they do? Have they documented any crimes against humanity committed in Cameroon? No.
Okay.
Have they done anything? No. Have they intervened? No. AU is useless.
Dr. David Matsanga, and that's saying AU is dead. DEAD.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
All right, so in our final moments, we are going to be talking to Dr. Sibusisiwe Ngongo, who's a lecturer at the University of South Africa. And we want to know who is Dr. Phyllis Ndandala Jordan, born on the 7th of January 1920. That's about all I know. Born in Etujwa. That is about all I know. How are you doing this afternoon, Dr. Sibusisiwe?
I'm well, thanks, Bridget. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the time. And this is why we have this recurring series asking the question around who are these phenomenal women that, are such a big part of South African history, but that we know nothing about. So who was Phyllis Ndandala Jordan?
Okay, I think first and foremost, she was an activist. She was a political activist. She was a teacher. She was an author. She was an intellectual, a translator, and a transnational sort of feminist, if you'd call it that. So she was so many things in one.
You've researched a lot on her work and legacy. Tell us about that.
Yes. So what led me to her has been, the recurring or sort of resurfacing conversation around the existence of Black women who, were active in politics, but also who were researching and writing in our history, but we really don't know much about them. And when we speak of Phyllis Ndandala, obviously in relation to her association to her husband, A.C. Jordan, we don't really get to what she does or writes about beyond her autobiography. So I was familiar with her autobiography, A Life's Mosaic, but upon further research into her work, I found that she actually did so much more research and writing around Black women's experiences and the impact of the migrant labor system and apartheid during the 1950s in South Africa. And I want to point to the book that is very less known called An African Tragedy that she actually publishes in the 1970s in Detroit. So that now positions her as this transnational philosopher and thinker around Black women's experiences of colonialism and apartheid. So, I found that to be so much more interesting, and to say, if we move beyond, right, what we associate with her in terms of the male counterparts in her life, her husband, her son, who is also well known, we find that she had so much more to offer and bring, and so much more contribution as an activist and writer in South Africa and again in the US.
The question has always been, Sibu, the question has always been, why is it that we remember the males who played a significant role in our history, but often forget the women who were equally engaged in the struggle?
Yeah, so the issue of remembering, ties closely to the practice of thinking and writing, and who are the people who write, right? Who are the people who are engaged in public thought and debate? And historically, this has been, men. And this also relegates women then to this kind of supportive role in terms of the gender roles that are assigned to men and women, and we find that their work is then overshadowed by that, right? It then rests upon us. So you write and represent yourself in terms of your subjectivity, right? In terms of how you exist in the world, and you look for people who existed who are similar to you. So it's not to say, right, that they didn't exist, these women, or that they were erased from history. It's that their work and their writing were overshadowed by men participating in public spaces more than women, and obviously this need to almost insist on maintaining gender roles. Women in the private sphere, men in the public, and over time this has been challenged by women entering the academic space. And also just to say that women like Phyllis Ntantala were also questioning that, to say, they should be taken seriously in terms of their contributions to politics and activism in South Africa as well. If you read her biography, she does really highlight the fact that she was pioneering this sense of women themselves being, standing up for the right, especially against the passing of Bantu education, standing up against Bantu education and speaking for their children, and how this policy might threaten, right, the livelihoods of Black South Africans, but also in terms of migrant labor systems. So it's to say that over time it is us young, Black scholars, women scholars who come into the academic space, and we undo that kind of, or unveil, right, the actions and the lives that they lived, to say that they were part of the conversation and the activism in very real and tangible ways.
Phyllis passed on in 96, if I'm not mistaken, at 96 years, or my apologies, at 96 back in 2016 in the US. Did she find herself residing in the U.S. after the liberation of South Africa?
Yes. So she continued to live in the U.S. And there's politics also surrounding the return, right, of exiles in South Africa, and just the kind of context, right, that was there, and resistance in terms of politics, of PAC, ANC, etc. So she was very much happy to stay in the U.S. And I think we can leave it at that because of the sheer complications with returning, the politics of returning to South Africa, and the challenges one might face in terms of, acceptability, etc. But she was also suffering from an illness, and therefore I think she ended up staying in the US. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, you've done an excellent job by way of introducing us to the legacy of Dr. Phyllis Ntantala Jordan, and I think it's incumbent on us to go do a little bit more digging for ourselves around the life and the contribution of what seems to be a very dynamic woman. We appreciate the time with you this afternoon, Dr. Sibusisiwe Ngongo, who's a lecturer at the University of South Africa, and just bringing us the highlights around the question, who is Dr. Phyllis Ntantala Jordan? That is where we leave it today. We're going to make room for Ashraf and his team to come through on the National Pulse. We will see you tomorrow. We have a live broadcast tomorrow from at Santon Hotel as we wrap up Women's Month with our annual Women's Conversations. We've got an incredible panel of creatives, practitioners, those who indulge in the business of creativity, and those who are steering it in new directions now in the era of social media, and how do we exploit that medium. All of this to answer the question of how do creatives, and particularly women, how do they maximize on the economic opportunities that creativity brings to them? So that conversation is coming through tomorrow. We will see you then, and we'll be live on all social media platforms. From myself and my team, inshallah, God willing, we do it again.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, police questioned 15 people for e-hailing driver assault, and top official involved in Equatorial Guinea sex tape scandal sentenced. For SFM News, I am Ondilambana, and a very good afternoon. 15 taxi drivers and owners have been taken in for questioning following a police operation after one e-hailing service driver was assaulted and another was shot at in Kwadabega near Pinetown. A taxi owner who allegedly fired the shot presented himself at the police station, accompanied by his attorney today. KwaZulu-Natal Police spokesperson Robert Nechunda says a number of firearms, including 3 AK-47s, were confiscated during the operation.
8 licensed firearms were seized from the house of one of taxi owners, and he will be charged for failure to safeguard firearms in accordance with the Firearms Control Act. 4 more firearms were also removed from their owners, and all 12 firearms will be taken for ballistic analysis. The situation is calm in Kwadabeka, and police will maintain necessary visibility to restore order, peace and stability. Police will endeavor to convene a meeting between taxi industry and e-hailing services to reach a consensus.
National Police Commissioner Fandi Masemula says they're re-looking at strategies to deal with the